All right, today we're breaking down the treatment for a fictional political thriller called Steeplechase. We're going to get right into the nuts and bolts of this story, the characters, the plot, the core conflict, by really unpacking the foundational document that lays it all out.
So right off the bat, you're hit with this tagline, "The flock is the field." I mean, just let that sink in. That one phrase sets this incredibly sinister tone for the entire series. It reframes whole communities not as people, but as territory, something to be controlled.
And here it is, the core idea. A secret military program is using faith networks on a massive, massive scale. The story throws us right in with the journalists and veterans who stumble onto this whole thing and have to race to expose it before it is way too late.
And I love the level of detail here. The operation isn't just called Steeplechase. Internally, its architects have a code name for it, Ziklag. It's those little details, it just gives the whole conspiracy that authentic, clandestine feel of a true espionage thriller.
Okay, so a massive conspiracy needs people, right? You've got the ones running it and the ones trying to stop it. Let's meet the key players on both sides of this shadow war.
So on one side, you've got your investigators. There's Mara Lund, the cynical podcaster who's seen it all, and Eli Turner, a retired Navy signals expert who knows his stuff. They're joined by an insider, Candace Owen, and a wildcard hacker, Ian Carroll. And who are they up against? Well, you've got the charismatic face of the operation, Pastor Rob McKay, and the shadowy director Halverson, the one pulling all the strings from the Pentagon.
So you might be wondering, how on earth do you even start to uncover something this huge? Well, like a lot of these stories, it all kicks off with one tiny thing, a single stray signal.
The pilot does a great job of connecting the dots for us. It starts with Eli, just listening to his shortwave radio when he catches a key word. At the exact same time, Mara gets this cryptic tip, go to the sailor. They meet up, and that's when it all clicks. They realize a pastor's sermon they're listening to. It isn't a sermon at all. It's a coded military signal, hiding right out in the open.
And as they start pulling on that thread, the whole four-step plan of Ziklag starts to come into focus. It's brilliant, really. First, they hide signals in church live streams. Then, they use the viewer data from those streams to literally map out the congregation. Next, they recruit ex-military members into these Faith Shield security teams. And the final step? Using subliminal triggers in the sermons to get this entire network ready to move.
And make no mistake, we're not talking about a couple of rogue operations here. This thing is a coordinated, nationwide network. You've got command and control out in California, a propaganda arm in Nashville, the money guys in Texas, and all the data crunching happening in Michigan. It is a full-blown shadow operation.
But mapping people and recruiting them, that's just phase one. This is where the story really cranks up the tension as we find out where this all came from and what the terrifying endgame really is.
So this Ziklag program, it didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Its roots are actually in counterinsurgency tactics used back in Iraq, now repurposed for use at home. And who's paying for all this? A secret group of powerful magnates, oil, uranium, security, who see this as some kind of energy security crusade to protect their interests and basically control the country's future.
And that brings us to the ultimate goal. This isn't just about influencing people. It's about engineering a crisis. The whole point is to trigger what looks like a genuine grassroots uprising all across the country, to create so much chaos that it justifies declaring martial law. And once that happens, the people funding the program can seize control. The whole season is structured as this fast-paced, 6-episode thriller. It just builds and builds. Episode 1, they find the signal. Then they uncover the propaganda, the infiltration teams, the money trail, until boom, Episode 5, the entire Ziklag network goes live nationwide. It all leads to this desperate final race to get the truth out before the plan completely collapses.
So what's the big idea behind all this? It really boils down to two very powerful words: faith weaponized.
You get this absolutely chilling confession from the antagonist, Pastor McKay, right at the climax. He says, "We never invaded the church, we became it." That's the real horror, isn't it? The threat isn't from the outside, it's a complete corruption from within, twisting faith into a tool for power.
But in the end, the heroes get the last word. Eli Turner's final broadcast just nails the whole moral of the story. They called it Steeplechase because they thought they could outrun the truth. It's just this perfect, powerful statement on transparency versus a deep state conspiracy. So when the credits roll, the story leaves you chewing on this one big question. In a world that feels more and more unstable, Where do you draw the line between surveillance and salvation, between protection and control? And that's exactly what a good thriller should do. Make you think,